Welcome in, Raiders. And good evening, Yarnies, Dirty Hookers, and Fiber Fiends. Give me 1 second. I wasn't even ready, but welcome in. How was your stream? What were you doing? Witchy Weaver, I was lurking in your stream. I was setting things up, doing some crafting. I think you were crocheting, if I'm not mistaken. Let me turn the tab off. Give me one moment. We're gonna stop the timer. Here we go. Um, hey there, Spy Guy. Insert Witchy Weaver right message here. I totally copied it. Sure you did, Spy Guy. Sure you did. Hey there, Mickey. Welcome in. Let me catch up with chat. I saw Just a Curious Brain Cell, Aloof and Poofed, Spy Guy. Welcome in, everybody. Yes, let me know. What were you doing? Crocheting the Marvin the Paranoid Android. Ooh. Yeah, the stream of 1,000 raids. Well, I hope there is, and not just for me. So welcome in, everybody. If you want to share anything that you're working on, Witchy Weaver, feel free to do it. I think, yeah, you're in my Discord. No, you're fine. You were fine. Actually, I was pretty much all ready to go. I was waiting for the timer to count down. I only had like a couple more minutes left, so it's all good. Like I said, if you have anything that you need to that you want to post, feel free to do that. If you need a rated run, I understand that too. Welcome in, everybody. As I usually say, good evening, Yarnies, Dirty Hookers, and Fiber Fiends. Welcome to the stream. This is Back to Basics for crochet in the month of May. And to start it off, we're going to have a special guest tonight. Yes, not an in-person guest like if you've seen Clay Miko here. Not an in-person guest, but a collab stream together guest. I've never done this before. We did a test the other day. Actually, I need to go and invite them real quick. So hold on, everybody. Let me do the thing. Gonna wait for them to do what they need to do, and then we will bring them into the stream. We're going to be teaching how to crochet. Back to basics. Very much the fundamentals, chain stitch, single crochet, and then we're going to ease into other stuff when they're ready. If you see below, it says that is who I'm going to be collaborating with, Edge of Human. So just send them the invite once they get it, and we'll be able to bring Edge of Human into the stream, and we can have him introduce himself. Made progress on the dragon at work today until I hit the point where I needed stuffing that I hadn't thought to take to the office. Yes. What Aloof and Poof is referring to is... Oh, let's move this. We can move this here. Is this cute little dragon. This cute little dragon from Crochet Magical Creatures by Drew Hill. They are also doing this along with me. I got most of the body parts done, and I'm stitching them together. So, give me 1 second, everybody. Alrighty. Hold on, everybody. Edge of Human, can you hear me? Yes. When... Okay. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the chat, but if not, I can answer questions and direct questions if anybody has any questions towards you. So we can do that. Okay. Everybody bear with us for 1 second. Technical issues. We've never done this before. Welcome in, Fairy Doss. Yes, good evening, Dirty Hookers. Mickey says probably lurk and go paint. Paint by numbers. Very cool. Good evening to Dirty Hooker in training. Okay, Fairy Dust. You'll be lurking in and out as you get chores done. Okay, Witchy Weaver. Alrighty. I think we're ready. Are you ready, Edgy Human? Okay. Alrighty. So let me see if I can remember how to do this, how to bring someone into the thing. But, wait, I did it yesterday. Add guest to backstage. Okay. Good. I'm very new to this. Wait, where's the button? Where's the thing? Okay, there's that. Oh, maybe I have to copy something. I think I have to copy something. That's not it. Um, okay, copy that. I think I have to copy it each time. Paste that and okay. Oh, oh, that is not what I wanted to do. Oh, wait. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're here. Can everybody see both myself and Edge of Human? And I'm hearing myself. Are you wearing your headset, Edge of Human? I hear you, but I'm hearing myself. Ah, okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Bear with us, everybody. Let me see if I can do this. Um, I mean, it's not too bad. It's noticeable, but it's not too bad. Let me see. Yes, can everybody hear Edgy Human? Oh, wait a minute. I have a question. Okay, are you listening to my stream on your computer? If you can mute the audio on the computer. Okay. Yes. Okay. We got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. Alrighty. Yep, yep. You're good. Okay. Let me catch up with chat here real quick. Um. Let's see here. It's funny you've never watched a hook either. No, I. Oh. Did we lose? Oh, you're back. I gotta. Hold on. I gotta click. Okay, we're back. We're back. Okay. Let me catch up with chat. Never watched a hook either. Yes, I do. I have never watched a hook, and I never will. That is why we are the home of the Dirty Hookers. It's the espionage feller. Oh yes, spy guy. Yes, I'm playing catch up. Twitception. Hey there, Bray and Sue. Welcome in. Um, you see Cub and Max Headroom. Oh, I guess you're Max Headroom. If anybody's old enough to remember Max Headroom. Are you calling in Discord or some other place? You might need to mute Discord. We're using the Twitch's Stream Together feature that's built in Creator Dashboard. So I think we figured it out. We needed to mute my stream on his end, so we weren't getting feedback. You can hear Max Headroom. It's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Welcome in, Gary. Yes, frigging storms. Stay safe. Hopefully you haven't had any bad storms, Gary. Got done with dinner and thought, well, very, very cool. Thank you. What did you have for dinner, Bray? I had a sandwich, but we haven't had dinner yet. So welcome in everybody. As you can see, as we've worked through the technical difficulties, EduHuman is my special guest tonight. This is Back to Basics for Crochet. The whole month of May, that's what we're doing. And I'm going to attempt, and we will succeed, to teach EduHuman how to do some basic fundamentals of crochet. We're not going to get anything complicated. We're going to keep it simple. Before we start, EduHuman, would you like to introduce yourself? Woohoo! We have a new affiliate in our midst. Yes. Oh, wow. I like that. Exactly. It, it's all, the whole Twitch experience. It's all gonna. You'll find things here and there. You're not gonna get everything all at once. I'm still learning myself, like stream together. So, yeah, it's a learning experience. Well, like I said, welcome in. Let me catch up with some chat here. Bray, Fairy Dust is Debray. You know me. I bring out those obscure references. Yes, you are very obscure, Fairy Dust. Hey there, good two shoes. When you miss the announcement? Yes, Edgy Human just made affiliate. It is official. It is official again. He's still setting things up, and if anybody who has been there and can give him tips, we're all more than welcome to not more than welcome, more than willing words, more than willing to help him with his Twitch journey. Bray's rack is pretty spicy. To excuse me. Anyway, Fairy Dust, you might get that sword taken away from you. I'm joking. Yes, Eduhuman will be getting buttons. Good two shoes. Yes, good two shoes wants to know, when is your next stream going to be? Yes, today's Monday. And the link to Eduhuman's channel is in the description below the thing here, where the description, and it will periodically come up in chat. So if anytime that you need the link, that is where you can find it. And go and follow him and check his channel out. It's all different. Like you said, it's all different types of things. Very chill, and he's a great streamer and just starting out. And he's definitely gonna succeed. So that is the goal. We are gonna send out good positive vibes to Edge of Human. Let's see. First tip: panic. Oh wait, that's a secret. No, don't listen to Spy Guy. Come in and cause trouble. Must be reading the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Do oh, welcome in, Raiders. How was your stream? Welcome in, Frog and Turtle Gaming. I know how your stream was because I was lurking in your stream. Thank you for rating me. If you are not familiar with Frog and Turtle Gaming, he is the reason that I got into streaming on Twitch. So blame him. Blame Frog and Turtle Gaming. As the name implies, Frog and Turtle Gaming does gaming. You were playing Elder Scrolls Online, correct? Maybe? I think. You also do World of Warcraft, Fallout, all of that good stuff. So how was your stream? Welcome in. Tonight is a special night. You're doing Skyrim. Very cool. It's a special night tonight. I have a special guest. Welcome in. This is Eduhuman. He is a brand new, or relatively new streamer. He just made affiliate, and he is joining me tonight because I am going to teach him how to do some of the crochet. We're gonna get, we're gonna do some magic. We're gonna do some magic tonight. So thank you for rating. It was a struggle, but you made it to the end. That's the important thing, is if you make it to the end. So you did it, Frog and Turtle Gaming. Again, everybody go and follow Frog and Turtle Gaming and hang out in their stream. My goal is to make Frog and Turtle Gaming affiliate. So he needs the more interactions. What is it? The however many viewers per month. I think it's like average or 3 viewers per month in a given month. He's got all the other what do they call it? Milestones or whatever. And so he needs more interactions in his stream. He streams Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays between usually 4 and 6 p.m. Eastern time. So you missed it, but my last upload to YouTube has 400 views. That is great. That is great. Congratulations. You just need more of chatters in your stream when you're streaming to get you affiliate here on Twitch. So yeah, he's got a lot of views over on the YouTube. I'm completely missing chat, but that's probably going to happen tonight. I might have to have you as a guest or be a guest on so you can learn. Yes, definitely good shoes. You need more personality. Oh, shush. You have a great personality. Problem is, and it's not really a problem, but it is a thing. In the gaming section of Twitch, you're kind of competing against other people playing the same game. So you do have people, you're vying for views. So that's where it's different with the Makers and Crafters. It's Makers and Crafters is collaboration over competition. So it's a different dynamic. So I totally understand that. I've been trying to get Frog and Turtle Gaming to be a guest like Eduhuman is tonight and to teach him crocheting, but he's having no part of that. But I keep pushing, but we'll see what happens. Tiny minnow in an ocean of streamers. Yes. That. Alrighty. So if we're ready, did you want to learn? Did you want to do some of the magic that is crochet? Okay. Bef- Before we start, I'm just going to show real quick, and this goes for everybody. This isn't just for Edge of Human. This is for anybody who's tuning in. I got to change my... Sometimes my lighting is not the best, and it's my camera. But we're going to zoom in a little bit. Thank you for the look, good two shoes. Gaming, it's more difficult because you have to stream a game to consider viable, but also not oversaturated. That is very true, Fairy Dust. All right, so this I have some samples here. This is just an example of what these are basic stitches. So this little sample here is 10 stitches. This is single crochet. This is one of the very basic fundamental stitches in crochet. This is 10 stitches across and 10 rows. Okay? With the exact same yarn and the same hook, I did this. And this is half double crochet. And this piece is 10 stitches across and 10 rows. So you can see a half double stitch is much taller than a single crochet. This sample is double crochet. Again, exact same yarn, exact same hook. This is double crochet, 10 stitches across, 10 rows. So this is the best example I can show you that this is single, and single isn't exactly half, but close to that. It stretches, so we are going to have that. But it's almost twice as tall as single. That's why they call it double, because it's twice as tall. And then this last sample, and it's too large to do vertically, but this is 10 stitches across and 10 rows. This is triple crochet. So these are all the same stitch counts and same rows, just different different types of stitches. So this is just a basic overview to kind of see the difference between the height of stitches. When we start tonight, we're going to start with a single crochet. We're probably not going to get to triple tonight, which is fine. I don't want to overload everybody. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how time goes. Oh, and Edge of Human, if you don't have to stick around for the entire stream. I plan on streaming somewhat late tonight. So at any time, whatever you need to, whenever you're done, that's fine. So just let me know. All right. So that's just basic, the basic stitches to show the height difference between those four. There are other basic stitches, but these are the most common of the fundamentals. All right, so you know how to do the chain, correct? Okay, if not, I can do a refresher. I need to do a chain myself. Okay. I can show that there's many different ways to doing. Fairy Dust says, when he's done, can we stick a fork in him to be sure? No. Sometimes we have to ignore people in my chat. All right, so we are both using cotton yarn, okay? Edge of Human ended up getting cotton. He wasn't really looking for cotton, but it's actually good that he got cotton because it isn't as fluffy, and you're going to see the stitches a little bit better. You're going to see it's going to define the stitches. All right. So most crochet starts with a slip knot. There are different ways to do a slip knot, but this is the way I do it and the way I teach it. I call it the pretzel. I usually just do it in my hand because I've been doing it so long, but this is the pretzel. So the pretzel will be, you're going to have your tail here, and you're going to loop it over to form a loop just like that. So the bottom part is coming from your ball, and you're going to loop your end over top of itself. Okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the other part. Let me see if I can do this. Remember how to do it this way. So this part here is going to the ball. So the ball is that way. So now we're going to take that loop and we're going to lay it over top. And it kind of looks like the shape of a pretzel. Wait, did I do that right? Hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay, forget that. Okay, it's been a while since I taught this, so strike all of that. Okay, I gotta do it in my hand. Okay, let's start over. So we got our tail, our cut end of our tail. Welcome in, Tiki Room. How are you, Tiki Room bunnies? So we got our our tail, and then we're gonna form a loop. So you have your tail here. You're gonna form a loop just like that. So it's like the letter P. P for pretzel. I didn't plan it that way, so. Oh, it is. Oh, yes. Are you watching on my stream, is it, River? Are you watching my stream? Okay, this is my right hand. Is it on the right for you? This is my right. Okay. If you're watching it in the thing for the stream together, the separate thing, that is reversed. I would say watch on the stream. Okay. So my right hand, this is my right hand. Anyway, so where were we? Yes. Okay. So we have our letter P. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lift just the loop of the letter P. And we're going to take the yarn that's going to the ball. And we're going to lift up the loop and put the yarn that's going to the ball. That's the ball yarn. And lay the loop, the P part, the letter P on top of it. That's how we're supposed to do it. Okay? Okay? Now, and there's different ways to do this. There's different ways to do a slip knot, but this is the way I teach it. You might find other people that teach it a different way that's going to make it click for you. So I might not be the best teacher. All right, so I have the letter P. To one side, we've got our tail, and the other side, this is the yarn that's going to the ball. So the ball yarn, the loop here, the loop that's on the right, you're going to put your hook into that loop that's closest to the ball yarn. You're going to go into the loop and under that piece, that string right there. Yep. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to gently raise your hook, and with your other hand, grab everything and grab your tail and your ball yarn and pull them. Okay? Now, you've got a loop. That's a slip knot. Now, it's a slip knot because if you pull the yarn that's going to the ball, that's what this is, it'll tighten it. If you pull the cut end, it'll loosen it. Okay? So, again, there's different ways to do it. Once you get the idea how it's formed, I can usually quickly do it in my fingers and not have to lay it out like a pretzel. But that's the easiest way that I know how to show it. All right, so you're going to pull the ball yarn and tighten it up. You don't want it super tight, but you also don't want it super loose. So you want it somewhat snug, right about there. So it's hugging it, but it'll still freely move on the hook. I don't know if you can see it that well. Okay. Okay, let me catch up with chat. I'm sorry about that, chat. Funny how I end up in the Crafty Club every day. Well, welcome into Tiki Room bunnies. How are you doing? Ready for Masters to be over. Done for 2 assignments. You're going to drill a hole in your back porch? Okay. Okay. Tiki stream next Saturday night to celebrate being done with some craziness. Oh! So you're going to stream next Saturday, Good Two Shoes. Just don't pull Cub's finger. Yeah, don't pull my finger. Alrighty. There's always shenanigans in my stream. Oh, I did turn off most of my redeems. I do have a few of them. A few sound ones, like the fingy stretches, that type of thing, and the slow down. So if anybody is watching and following along, if I'm going too slow, you can use that slow down redeem. And EduHuman, if I'm going too fast, just say, hey, slow it down. All right. So, are you right-handed or left-handed, Eduhuman? Okay. I should have asked you that before. Okay, I'm right-handed also. So, there's different ways of holding the hook. There's no right or wrong way. I am a knife grip holder. There are people that hold it like a pencil. I cannot hold it like a pencil. It doesn't work. Whatever works for you, do it whatever works for you. Yep. 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 All right. So that is in your working hand. You're going to, what I usually do is when I hold it, my index finger is always on that loop. Try knife grip first. Yes. Yes, I am definitely a knife grip person. All right, so I always have my finger on that loop that's on the hook. With your other hand, that's your tensioning hand. There are all different ways to hold the yarn. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You're going to learn that with time, what works for you. I can't teach you that. That just comes with practice. I can show you the way I do it. I put the working yarn, which is the yarn going to the ball, over my pinky, under the next two fingers, and over my index finger. That is how I tension it. And then I turn my hand like this. And I put my fingers somewhat close together, not super tight, but that is going to guide the yarn through at an even tension. Again, that's something you have to pick up as you go along. If that doesn't work for you, there's other ways of doing it. I know there are some people that do it this way. They do it all different ways. They even make rings that you can get a tensioning ring that if you don't want it on your finger, you can put it through the tensioning ring. I've never used one. So it's just trial and error. So it might feel uncomfortable at first, and it will feel uncomfortable because it's something you're learning how to do with your hands. All right. So with my tensioning hand, or my left hand, I'm right-handed, so your opposite hand, I've got it tensioned in my fingers, and with the way I do it is with my thumb and my middle finger, I hold that slip knot. Okay? Whatever works for you is great. However you want to hold it. If you want to hold it with your index finger, that's usually how I try to teach it. All right, so when I do this, I form a triangle with my thumb, my index finger, and the yarn. This is the triangle. All of your stitches, when you form them, you're going to be working in and around this triangle. Okay? Now, to do the chain is the basis of pretty much all crochet. I gotta loosen up my knot. So to do the chain, you're gonna put your hook into the triangle underneath the yarn. And when you do this, your hook, the way I do it, the hook is gonna be horizontally flat and pointing towards your thumb. I don't have it facing down. I don't have it facing up. I don't have it facing away. I have it more the hook part facing toward me. That's the easiest way that I can get it. So I'm going to put it into the triangle, under the yarn, and when I do that, it's going to grab, the hook is going to grab that yarn. So it's grabbed onto it. That is called a yarn over. Anytime you hear the term yarn over, or if you're following a pattern, which you don't need to follow patterns, that's a little more advanced. Or it can be more advanced, not always. Anytime you see the initials Y-O, that's a yarn over. So you're going to yarn over, and you're going to bring that yarn over. So that loop that's on the hook, that yarn over, and you're going to bring that through the loop that's already on the hook. Pretty much all crochet stitches, when you're done the stitch, you're going to have one loop on the hook. So you always start with one on the hook. Tension will be your biggest struggle at first, trying to find the balance of holding your working yarn steady and keeping it all loose enough to move your hook with ease. Yes, Witchy Weaver is right. So like I said, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull that yarn over through, and the whole time I'm pinching my slip knot with my thumb and my middle finger. or you can use your index finger, or whatever works, and bring it through, and that is a chain stitch. And then I usually bring my pinch, my thumb and middle finger up, and hold the stitch I just did, go into the triangle again, yarn over, bring the yarn over through that loop. Okay? You just keep doing that. And if your chains are all different sizes, that's fine. You're going to learn over time with your tension to get your chains to be somewhat even. Even I've been doing this for many years. All of my chains aren't always perfectly even. So you just do a bunch of chains. And again, if I'm going too fast for you, yell at me. Yep. And I'm watching what you're doing, and you're actually doing it. You're doing the chain. It's basically you bring it over the hook, and then whatever you brought over the hook, you bring through the loop that's on the hook. So you yarn over, bring through the loop. Yarn over, bring through the loop. That is the chain stitch. It's named that because it looks like links of a chain. Okay? So do a bunch of them. It doesn't matter how many you do. This is just a test piece. When we do get to the next stitch and you get a little better at it, and once you're comfortable with it, I have a small, simple project in mind for you to do. But we're not there yet. Okay. So just make a bunch of chains. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. The fiber content it feels different, and the way it works with the types of hooks will, you will see some difference. I know a lot of people, if they're using cotton yarn, they don't always, some people don't want to use a bamboo hook, or some people do because of the way it interacts. I am not a fan of working bamboo hooks with cotton yarn because it does grip and grab, but some people like that. Yep. And yes, and you're going to learn that with time. God, I can't teach that. Mm-hmm. So it looks like you've got a pretty decent chain there going there. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yep. That's fine. All right. So I think you kind of understand how the chain stitch is formed. Are you ready to go to the single crochet? Okay. Um. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. The brand you picked is also used for dishcloths. I have brought lots of peaches and cream for making dishcloths. It's more of a durable yarn for wet use. Yes. And Witchy Weaver, that is the basic little project that I'm gonna have him do to make a dishcloth, a washcloth, anything like that, because it's cotton. And cotton, and fiber. Once you're more into how the stitches are formed, and if you want to venture out to other types of fibers, if that's something that anybody is interested in, finding matching the fiber content with the intended project is beneficial. There's reasons why we use cotton for certain things, because cotton is absorbent and it's very strong. You don't want to use wool for a dishcloth. You're wasting your money because wool can be expensive, not always, and it's not always durable, and it's going to felt and fluff possibly, and it's not a suit, and it absorbs water but doesn't absorb as much water as cotton does. So that's why if you go to the store and you buy a cotton dishcloth, there's a reason why they're cotton. It's not just because, oh, we have a lot of cotton. There's certain fibers for certain applications. All right, so whenever you're ready, we can do the single crochet. Now, okay, yeah, not a problem. And again, if you've been in my stream long enough, and a lot of people, a lot of my regulars here, they know what I'm going to say. Crochet it. Welcome in, Sam. We'll wait. How are you, Sam? Welcome in. I have a special guest. Eduhuman is here tonight, and I am teaching them how to crochet. You, yes. I had to get rid of most of the redeems tonight because I have a special guest. A special guest. Yes, welcome to being a hooker. This is Eduhuman's initiation process into the world of hookers. Uh, wait, no. I was gonna say, does that make me the pimp? Anyway, no, we're not. That is not going to be a thing. We are not. No, we're not. That is not a thing. Alrighty, so I always say crochet is not permanent, so you could always rip it out and reuse the yarn as many times as you need to, well, until it breaks down and you physically can't use it anymore. Also, I say there's no rules in, makes me a madam. Someone make a pimp. Okay, they can make a pimp emote. I have to be the one to initiate it into my stream, and that's not happening. I say in art there are no rules, just guidelines. So, with guidelines in mind, I'm not gonna do the stitch right now. I'm just gonna explain it. Usually, not always, but usually when you go to do a single crochet, okay, we've got a row of chains here. We're gonna work into those chains, and we're gonna work single crochets. So the next row that hasn't been done yet, when we go to do it, usually you chain up one. And that chaining of one is called a turning chain. You can chain all different amounts of chains, but that chain of one counts as it's called a turning chain. And that basically will get your hook into the right position so it's the right height. So remember back to this sample here. When I did these rows, when I got to the end, I chained one. And then when I was doing my next stitches, that chaining one put the hook up to the right level for the height of the stitches that I was going to make. It's not always true. You don't always have to chain a certain number, but it's kind of like not really a rule of thumb, but more of a guideline. I don't want to say it's a hard and fast rule because there are patterns where you don't always do that. So usually if you're going to do a row of single crochets, you're going to chain one first. If you're going to do a row of half doubles, you chain two, and so on. We'll get to that when we get to that. So, with that being said, we've been chaining the whole time. So we don't really need, if you were following a specific pattern and it called for X amount of chains, that number would be important because that very last chain that you made will end up being your turning chain for when you do your next row. If that makes sense. Okay, say for instance, we're not going to do it. Let's say for instance, we need, the pattern will say 11 chains. So you make 11 chains, and then you're going to work into the second chain from the hook. The reason for that is, and then you're going to see that quite often, you skip that first chain because that first chain you skip becomes a turning chain. So then when you actually do your stitches, you will have 10 stitches because you started out with 11, you skip the first one, and then I'm probably confusing everybody, but that's kind of like the theory behind it. All right, so if we're ready for single crochet, if you look at your chain stitches, you can kind of see there's like each of them are made up of 3 strands, and they're braided. Do you see? Okay. So the loop on the hook. Welcome in, Retro Gamer. How are you? The loop on the hook does not count as a stitch. Farida says it's actually important to learn the rules before you learn how to break them. To break them effectively, you still need to have the fundamental knowledge of why the rules exist in play. Yes, yes, yes. Very true. In most crochet, the loop on your hook does not count as anything. I've never come across a pattern that it does count, but I'm not saying that that's always the case. So ignore the loop that's on the hook. And if you see where did my pointer go to? Let me get my little pointer out. Come on. And I can zoom in. Zoom on in. Okay, we're going to ignore, and I know it's kind of blurry when I zoom in, but I'm going to ignore this loop on the hook, and right here, mine's kind of tight. I'm actually going to take that out. You don't have to take out that last chain you made. All right, so I was pulling on it, so that's why. So that loop on the hook, we're going to ignore. The very first chain that's right next to the hook, see, that first one, we're going to skip. We're not going to do anything with that one. And in the following chain, and the easiest way that I can find chains, there are different ways of going into the chain. We're not going to do the back bump method because that's a little more, I think it's a little more advanced. It's really not, but it kind of is. I'm going to teach you the way I learned. The easiest way is if you look at the bottom edge of your chains, they kind of form these like swags. They curve. Okay? So that's how I count the chain. So that first little swoop, that first swag, we're going to skip. And then the next one, so the second one from the hook, if you look, there are 3 strands, and if you separate it, you can separate it with the hook or whatever, or you can visualize it. There are 2 strands on the top and 1 strand on the bottom. Okay? I'm trying to make this as clear as possible. You see there's 2 strands at the top and then 1 at the bottom? Okay. What I'm going to do is, again, I'm tensioning the same way. I'm going to put my index finger on my hook hand on my loop that's on the hook, and in that second chain, I'm going to put my hook in that chain between the bottom swag or the bottom swoop and the top 2 strands. Okay? Yes. Yes. So when I put it in, so I've only put the hook into the chain, and here on top of the chain, this is on top of the hook, there's 2 strands here of that chain. I know it's blurry because my camera is crap. So there's 2 strands there, and then underneath there's 1 strand. Okay. So once you do that, you've got 2 loops on the hook essentially. You've got the first loop you started, and then you've gone into the chain. We're now going to yarn over. So remember the yarn over is you're in the triangle already. You're going to grab that working yarn and bring the working yarn just through the chain. So if you bring it through, and again, it's going to take some practice. The way I have the hook, see how the hook is pointing to the left. When I do it, again, I'm holding with my index finger of my right hand this loop, and I've yarned over, and now when I go to pull it through, I'm going to rotate my hook slightly. I'm going to do it slightly, not all the way, but I do it slightly and pull it through that chain. And sometimes I can take my left hand and pull the chain away, and now you have 2 loops on the hook. Do you want me to show that again? Okay. Yes. Yes, I can see you have it. Okay, so you have two loops on the hook. So that All we did there is we went into the chain and drew up a loop. That's all we did. Now we're going to actually we're going to finish the stitch. So that's the first half of the stitch. The second half is we're going to yarn over again. So yarn over again, and now when we do this, we're going to bring that yarn over through both loops on the hook. So so we're going to yarn over and bring the yarn over through both loops on the hook. Yes, when you're done the stitch, and this is pretty much every stitch in crochet, I can't say 100%, but pretty much, when you're done the stitch, you will have one loop on the hook. Now, what we're going to do is you're going to go to the very next chain. The very next chain, you can easily see with the cotton here, you see how this loop is really loose here? It's because I've worked into that chain. So we're not going to work into that chain. We're going to work into the very next chain. And yep. And again, I usually put it in so on top of the hook are 2 strands, and on the bottom is only the 1 strand. We're going into the chain. After we go into the chain, the hook is in the triangle. Remember the triangle. We're now going, and again, I always put my index finger, this is the way I do it, the index finger on that loop so the loop doesn't wobble and flop all around. And I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to bring the yarn over through the chain. And once we bring it through the chain, we have 2 loops on the hook. You want me to do that again for you? Okay, yep, you have 2 loops on the hook. Now we're going to yarn over again, put the hook in the triangle, yarn over again, and bring the yarn over through the 2 loops that are on the hook. You're single crocheting. So, for the it's the first time doing it, mine was horrible looking. It was a disaster. Yep. Yep. And again, that's going to come with practice, getting your tension right. So it's going to take some time. So the very next chain, do the same thing. What I'm going to have you do is do the same thing for all of the chains. So go into the chain. The hook is in the triangle, the magic triangle. Yarn over and bring the yarn over through the chain and onto the hook. So we have 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over again and bring that yarn over through both loops. That is US single crochet. I should mention that this is US terms. Don't worry about the UK terms because that can get confusing because it's the same stitch and they use the same names but for different stitches, and it even confuses me. Let me catch up with chat. I am so sorry. Had to leave and return as chat wasn't uploading. Messages weren't sending. As I tried to say before, very tired. Me and a friend went on a long walk in the rain and muddy field. Oh, wow, Retro Gamer. Well, if you need to get some rest, get some rest. That's important. I have a friend that I was teaching, and she was poo-pooing me on using patterns. Miss Beginner thought she could just freehand everything without learning some basics of how you get certain effects or shapes by learning patterns first. It's like cooking without a recipe when you've never cooked before. You know what? Yeah, you don't know what goes good together. Exactly. Yeah. You need some patterns or some guidance. You can't just... I mean, yes, you can freehand it. That's fine. But you won't necessarily get the effect that you want. Everyone's first time doing it is a disaster. Yes. A couple weeks later, hey, it's just practice. Yep. And okay. It does, yes. Yep. Yep. We're gonna, yeah. All right. Actually, an ad's going to start here soon. I am going to take a quick break. So while we're on break, if everybody do a bio break, Eduhuman, if you still want to practice more of the stitches, keep doing that. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. So I will be back, or we will be back after this break. I think we're back. Welcome back, everybody. All right. So how'd you make out with the Actually, okay, the last, I'm looking at your stitch. If you move it over to the other side a little bit, yeah, like, perfect. The last like 4 or 5 stitches look really, really good. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So yeah, just keep practicing with that. When we get to the end of your chain, and I don't know how many stitches you have, but that's fine. Doesn't matter, right? What's that? Okay. When you get to the end of the chain, then I will show you what to do for another row. We're doing rows. What's that? No, no limit. If you you keep going until you decide to stop. Um, it's how the number of chains you start with will determine your roughly one. And now again, this is with rectangle. Well, it's not always true. Okay, we're doing rows back and forth. We're not doing anything in the round. So this is just stripes back and forth. Even though it's a solid color, it just rows back and forth. The number of your chains will determine roughly the length of one side of your piece. That's even if it's a triangle, because you can do triangles in rows, back and forth. You can do all different types of shapes except circles. I mean, I guess, well, you can't. No, I don't think you could. Well, maybe. I'm thinking just out of the box, and it's giving me a headache. But if you do a really wide chain, let's say, for instance, 200 chains, that could be the width of a blanket. And then however many rows you add onto it will be the length of the blanket. Or the same thing could happen if you do a much smaller number of chains. It could either be the width or the length of a scarf, depending on how you want your rows or your stripes to go. Even if it's a solid color, it would still kind of work up like stripes because you're doing one row at a time. So if you do a really long chain for a scarf, then your rows would run vertically, like up and down, the whole length of it. Or if you do a short amount of chains to start with, then you had have short rows that go back and forth. You'd have more rows for your piece. And again, there's no limit. You can chain from here to LA, and then you can. I mean, that's a lot of chains. Let me catch up with chat. Fairy Dust said it's important to start learning to count. Yeah, to count your stitches on every row. Count, apart from tensioning. Not counting your stitches is where the overwhelming majority of mistakes occur. Yes, if you are following either a pattern or you're coming up with your own pattern and you want a set number of stitches per row or per whatever you're doing, yes. For this piece, counting isn't as important because it's just practice. But when you're actually making something, counting is important, even if you come up top of your head. The more you practice, the easier you'll get. Yes. Witchy Weaver says to ferret is especially when new, but even more if you're advanced, you still want to count. Yes, I definitely have to count. Especially if you're doing a newer, more complex pattern. Yes, I was doing a complex pattern last night and today, and I had to frog it out a couple times. I had to redo it. Should have seen the project. To me, to ripping out rounds because I miscounted or skipped stitches. Exactly, Witchy Weaver. Yes, we're doing single crochets. Make it big enough. Make it big enough. It's a blanket. Yes, yes. Keep in mind, your work will shrink as you add rows because the stitches will pull together. Yes, and your tension. What's that? Okay, okay, okay. If you mess up, this is what you do. Take the hook out. Take your hook out. Put your hook down. And then the yarn that's going from to the ball, pull it. Pull it and unravel it until you get to a part that's not messed up. That right there, what you're doing is called frogging because you're ripping out the stitches, and ripping sounds like ribbit. That's why we call it frogging. See? Yep. Thank you, Sam. Perfect. And I just did it here on my piece. And that's why I say crochet is not permanent. You can rip it out and redo it. Even if it's something you've done a decade, 2 decades ago, you could always, uh, wherever the last stitch is, if you've got a loop, wherever you have the next loop, like the one loop coming out of the stitch, put your hook back in. You should have like one, even if it's really short, pull it until you have one free that's still connected to. Okay, and when you have that larger loop, put your hook in and then keep going. Yes, yes. And you'll learn that with tension as you get work with it and practice more. Also, for this piece, it doesn't matter. If you can't get it into that one chain, skip it and keep going. If there is, if you don't have an even straight edge, that's fine for this. It's more about the fundamentals and the technique of forming the stitch. So don't think you're going to make something like a masterpiece right away, because usually that's not going to happen. And what Witchy Weaver said, keep in mind that as you add rows, it'll pull together and things will shrink. Also, if you're first starting and you keep going, your tension will improve. My very first piece, and I don't have it anymore, I was going to make a square, just like kind of what we're doing tonight. And I had X amount of stitches, and the first couple rows were really wide, but then my tension increased, got better and tighter, and I had a trapezoid. I had angled sides. The top and bottom were pretty much straight, but the sides were angling in because my tension improved. So that could happen. Edge will be a bit, baby blanket, about 170 stitches. Stitch markers help, yes. When you're actually making something to keep track of your count and your stitches, yes. Stitch markers will help. We're not going to get into stitch markers tonight because that could get a little too, I don't want to bombard him with everything. Counting is important, and knitting too. Yes. Amount of times you drop stitches or gained one. Yes. Counting is important in most things. Unless you're using roving yarn, then you'll burn it instead of, no. He definitely does not need to do roving yarn. Roving yarn is a type of yarn that has very little twist to it, and it's very soft and fluffy. And if you try to rip your stitches out, it all kind of felts and knots together, and it's a nightmare. It can be done, but it's a nightmare. But the cotton yarn is great. The cotton is good. Tension is key for knitting too. You need to be tight enough to keep stitches nice, not too loose that holes show. But you also need to be sure it's also not too tight, causing the shape and size to be wrong, or the difficulty of putting a needle in the next row. Yes. Same thing. Yep. And again, if you can't get it into that chain, skip it and go to the next one. Don't feel bad. No. It's not a race. You're not keeping me from anything, because this is the basis of my channel. It's all about education, and I do not mind slowing down for anybody. Even if I don't have a guest on, even if it's just me teaching, and if I'm going too slow, too tight is how everyone starts off. Yeah, too tight, and I consistently stitch too tight. So I never learned to make them loose. Hey there, Secret Window. I'm in and out lurking, crocheting, and perusing patterns. Very, very cool. Very fun. Welcome in. I have a special guest tonight, Ed's a Human, and we are teaching him how to do some crochet. He's got the chain, and he's now doing single crochet. It's a balance. You eventually get the feel of how you hold your yarn and keep the yarn looser. Yes, yes. Yep, you're doing it. Take your time. He's not slow. The first time I picked up a hook and yarn, it took more than 30 minutes to make 10 chains, and it sweat so much I look like a drowned rat. Okay, I'm gonna be nice, Fairy Dust. I'm joking. He knows I'm joking. I always pick on him. But yeah, you're doing great. While you're working, what's that? No, you go ahead. Um, um, hold on a second. Do I even have it? Hold that thought. Let me go check something real quick, and I can find an example of that. I don't have anything right at hand, but I think I might have something. I'm not certain. 1 second. Julie, I don't know where I put it. I don't know if I still have it or not. I had an example of something a little more advanced and something that I learned um back in the fall. Okay, with knitting, you know what a cable knit sweater looks like. So those are the ones that in pieces of it, it looks like the rows of knitting is going back and forth over each other. That's called a cable. Well, you can also do cabling in crochet. And I made a three-dimensional, like well, this isn't it. I made a pumpkin, not this one, but it had cabling on it. I did it on stream. That is advanced. This here isn't really advanced, believe it or not. This piece here is relatively beginner level. But the other, yes, and a lot of the dimension for this is formed after you do the crocheting. But and I don't know if I still have it because I made one and I gave one away, and I don't know where I put it anyway. But you can do that. You can do freehand patterns where they're like free form that are all a lot of textured stitches. That's a lot of expert stuff. Let me keep a chat. That's why I'm here getting some ideas from watching you. Whenever I get to trying crochet, yes. And again, Retro Great Gamer, if you need help, I'm willing to help you. Freehand things would most would need a pattern for. There's a lady that crochets costumes for her kids, all freehand. Wow, you can't remember her name. Like one of the costumes was Xenomorph from Aliens. Yes, freehand. That's yes. That could be advanced. Um, yeah, I wish I had that pumpkin. I know I have it, but I don't know where I put it. I think it might have been put away with our fall decorations. Anyway, but I thought I would have brought it up here. Doesn't anyway. Um, but yeah, like I said, things with a lot of texture can be advanced, and like Witchy Weaver says, uh, freehand stuff where you're not really following a pattern and you're kind of. I've seen xenomorph like from Aliens. I've seen a crocheted face hugger from Aliens. Other type of things like that where there's lots of parts to it. While you're working on that, and again, take your time, I just want to show off my progress. If anybody was in my stream last night, um, I was working on this dragon from this book, this amigurumi. Amigurumi is a Japanese term meaning cute toy, I think. Um, so they have crocheted amigurumi. You can get knitted in amigurumi. So this is from this book called Crochet Magical Creatures by Drew Hill. There's 20 different cute little creatures. I'm going to be making all of these. I can't teach these because it's a paid pattern, but I was working on this, and last night, even off stream, and today, I finished all the body parts. And just to show off what I have so far, I've got the arms and the tail and the wings. The wings were the difficult part. I think Aloof and Poof is also doing the same piece. And I got some stuff already done on this. So I've got the body, the snout sewed on, the horn sewed on, one leg. I have this other leg pinned on. So all I have left to do is to sew on the other pieces, and then I have to find something to do with the eyes. So this will be done sometime soon. I'm so excited. My first time doing anything out of that book. I've done amigurumi before, but nothing with all these extra pieces that have to be sewn on. This is my first one doing it. And I think it's coming out pretty cool looking. So. And this here, the only stitches that are in here is single crochet. The stitch that you're doing right now, there's single crochet. There's a decrease, which we're not going to get into decreases tonight. And there's no slip stitches. It's just single crochets and decreases. There's also the magic ring, but that's to start, and that's to make circle or things in the round. Yeah, that's all that's in here. That's basically what the stitch you're doing. That's what this thing was made out of. It's just counting. Lots of counting and numbers and getting things in the right positions. And but again, I'm not going to have you make one of these. Freehand things, but they are super simple, and I don't have to count much. But you can freehand stuff that has lots of increasing and decreasing, and you just know where to place them. I will worship you, yes. I did the first several rounds last night, and most of the rest of the head and the body. Very cool. Aloof and Poofed. Just most of the pieces in that book and that pattern are beginner friendly once you get the basics done. The only thing is the wings threw me for a loop because you make the 3 little cones, they call them, separately. And after you make the third one, then you join into the next and then and then you join them all together and you work all the way around. And my stitch count kept messing up. So I had to redo that probably like 2 or 3 times on both of them. But that's probably the most difficult part of that piece. How are we doing with the single crochet? Uh-huh. That's fine. Like I said, skip it, go to the next. Welcome in, Corn Relish. How are you? Yes, isn't this really, really cute? Again, when it's done, I will be posting pictures, and I'll probably show it on stream when it is finished. Oh, no, you're welcome, Corn Relish. Let me give Corn Relish a shout out. Um, I raided into Corn Relish last night, and I found Corn Relish from Supreme Doom's channel, and Corn Relish has this miniature kitchen. It's a working kitchen, so it's just not a dollhouse. It's just not a toy. It's working. Last night they were making for Cinco de Mayo. You're making avocado. You were making guacamole, and was it carnitas or carne asada? I think it was carnitas because you had a smoker, and it was all miniature. And you even made tortilla chips, and you were cutting up a little onion with a knife. Yeah, it was really cool. Guac and chips, carnitas, and carne asada street tacos. Yes. It was like really, really cute. Really cute. So, avocado chocolate pudding. What's that? What's that, Edgehuman? Yeah, Corn, did you make? Yeah, I think you made all of the whole kitchen set. Yeah, they built the kitchen themselves. So yes, go and follow everybody go and follow Corn Relish, and a lot of fun over there. That was my first time in their stream. Again, I know about them through Supreme Doom 56. All right. So yeah, welcome in Corn Relish. I am teaching Eduhuman how to do some crochet. 6 months. Wow. Yeah, it's really really cool. It's the first thing I ever really built from the ground up. Well, it looks amazing and it works. So yeah, like I said, we're just doing the single crochet. And if anybody's new to my stream, this is the basis of my channel is teaching crochet. I teach other stuff too. I've taught the beginner, very very much beginner needle tatting. I'm not an expert at needle tatting, but I'm more familiar with crochet. I've been crocheting for a couple decades now. Um, Anytime that I'm streaming, whatever I'm streaming, if anybody has any questions about crochet, just ask. I can put down what I'm doing, pick up a ball of yarn and a hook, and try to teach somebody. So that's kind of where like my niche here on Makers and Crafters. You've got a lot of crocheters that are on here, and they make great things, but not many of us actually teach. Some of us might teach little techniques here and there, little hints, but I Tuesdays usually on my stream, I teach a specific stitch or a motif, like a granny square or different types of squares, appliques, all that type of thing. So we do focus on that. We do all different types of crochet. Well, I do all different types of crochet. Basic crochet, modern crochet, like amigurumis, like I showed. Another amigurumi that I made was a hamster. And Corn Relish, you probably know about the hamster joke. So, so yeah, I had to make the hamster because of, if you know, you know. Um, amigurumi means cute toy. It is a Japanese term. It's usually a stuffed, knitted, or crocheted term. So anything that's stuffed, it could even, and I don't have any because I gave them away as a gift. Um, Around Easter time, I made a bunch of simple eggs using scrap yarn, bright colors, and my best friend's daughter's 3, so I gave her like almost a dozen of them. That's a simple pattern. You can get more elaborate and advanced, like the dragon that I'm doing. I can show you another thing that I've done. This is one of my first amigurumis. I made this back at Halloween. This is a simple one. It's just, there's no extra parts to add to it. It's a candy corn. So I've even made this is my very first official one that's not actually stuffed. I didn't stuff this one, but I've got a little acorn. Back in September, I did some woodland themed pieces, not just three-dimensional, but flat pieces, squares that were all, I had a whole theme. I made like mushrooms. I made little woodland animals that were in a little square that had look at a picture of a little animals. What else have I done? I have leaves. This is part of the leaf. The day I did leaves, or the week I did leaves. So, all different types of things that you can do with some yarn. But yes, that is what an amigurumi is. Basically a little knitted or crocheted stuffed toy, stuffed animal. It doesn't have to be an animal, like candy corn. So, like I said, the dragon, I got all of the pieces done on stream except the legs, one arm. So last night and today I had to do the legs, one arm, the two wings, and the tail. So oh, you can't even see because I'm zoomed in. I am very much zoomed in. So I did those off stream and the legs. Everything else I did on stream. I was able to do. The head and the body piece, that took the longest, obviously, because it's largest. And then the horns were quick. And so was the little piece on the belly and the little snout. This is a separate piece. But I did all of the sewing on. I did that today, this afternoon. Put on the horns, the snout, and the belly piece, and one leg. Still have more to do, the rest of them. So I've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more pieces to stitch on, and then it will be done. I think yes. Not that we're going to do amigurumi tonight, but usually when you do amigurumi, you go down a couple sizes in hooks. I didn't even ask you, what size hook are you using? It should be written on the handle. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter. That's, with this type of yarn, this size of yarn, that's usually like a 5.5 millimeter, somewhere around there is usually what you use. We're not going to get into hook sizes and what you need to use and gauge and all of that, because that gets too technical. Going to say, ask the size of the hooks based on the size of your yarn. Yes, as a general guideline, it does. Except when you do amigurumi, you want to go lower. You want your hook size to be a couple sizes lower, if not much more lower, so your stitches are tighter. This yarn, I normally would use a 5.5 millimeter for to do most crochet, but amigurumi, I used a 3.5 millimeter. So I went down considerably. They usually go down 0.5 millimeter sizes. Sometimes they could be 1/4 millimeter. But yeah, I did this with this 3.5 millimeter hook to get the tight stitches. Same thing with the dragon. I used the smaller hook because you don't want the stitches to be open and all your stuffing to come out. Let me move this. Move that. Edgy Human's doing good. He's getting the hang of the single crochet. He's almost. One other thing, and you probably only have the one hook. One other thing that will help, if you had a larger size hook, to do the chain in a larger size, and once you're done the chain, switch back to the smaller size, so your chains will be a little bit looser. But again, just starting out, I I don't expect anybody to go out and get a full set of hooks, even if they're cheap. If you're only going to do this once and you're not certain, if somebody's not certain if this is going to be something they like, why have all these extra tools that you're never going to use? So, all right, okay, take your time. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you, that row that you're doing there, even with me when I'm working into the chain, that is one of the most, I don't want to say difficult, but one of the most, well, maybe difficult. Maybe that is the right word. That is one of the most difficult rows to do because you're working into a chain. Once you get the chain, once you get your first row of stitches done, when you do your next rows, where to find the hook, where to find to put the hook in, it's going to be a lot easier. Even to this day, even if it's a pattern where I only have to work into one chain, I hate working into a chain. And it's even worse if the yarn is and the hook is much smaller. Like if I do any of the let me see if I can find it. Now, obviously, this is you're not ready for this because this is super detailed. But when I've done things with crochet thread and a tiny hook, if it tells me to go into a chain, I hate doing it. Usually I don't do it. I go into the space. I usually ignore that part and do it my own thing. But that not always. Um, it's all the basic stitches. Like the samples I showed here. My samples, my single, half, double, double, triple. That's all that this is. It's how you form them and where you put this end chain. There's chains in here too. But it's where you do each stitch and how many you do until you combine them to get this. So it's all the same fundamental stitches. Slowly, yep. Slowly is good. It's always to go slow. Dreaming True said I did the 50 link chain stitch yesterday for a few times. It was very confusing trying to do the single crochet after that. All right, okay, Dreaming Truth, this is the perfect time. If you want to, if you have your crochet and your piece and your hook with you, and if you want to join in, this is the perfect time because I'm teaching EduHuman how to do the single crochet. Hey there, Hijinks, welcome in. Slowly is the right way, yes. It is not a sprint. It is not a sprint. It's a marathon. You're going to go for the distance. It's not for speed. I think I said that right. Okay. I'm not an athlete. I know. That I think that was a reference. An analogy I shouldn't have used because I don't know anything about sports. The only thing I know about sport. What's that? No, go. Oh, cool. The only thing I know about sports is the Dallas Cowboys. When they play, they try to get a home run and eventually win the Stanley Cup. I think that's right. I'm joking. I know that's not right. Once you get the muscle memory down, that's when the speed picks up. Yes. And alrighty, you know what? You have a row of single crochet. All right. Uh-huh. Well, I mean, it's kind of a Baltimore tradition. I mean, it's institution. But yes, congratulations. You have a row of single crochet. All right. So we're going to do another row. Now, you can watch before you do this. So we're at you did your very last stitch. Now, remember at the beginning, if you remember, when I talked about turning chains? Where we did all the chains, and when your hook was here at the very beginning, you skipped that first chain and you went into the second chain. Okay, that chain that you skipped that first one. That first one is a turning chain. You don't have to do it on your piece, but that chain we skipped is right here at the edge. It actually forms the edge. You might not be able to see it because you said at the end it's kind of a big knot. Yeah, so yeah. So that chain that we skipped, and sorry you can't have a clearer picture, but that forms the side edge of our piece that we're doing. All right, so with that in mind, our next row we're going to do is single crochet. We're sticking with single crochet. So, like I said, a guideline is usually if you're going to do a single crochet for the next row, you're going to chain one. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to chain one, just like I did in my basic chains. So I'm going to go put my, again, we always end with a loop on the hook. I'm going to put my hook into the triangle, yarn over, and pull the yarn over through the loop on the hook. That is a chain. So after we do that, and if you want, you can do the chain. After you chain one, what's that? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so we have our last, you finished your last stitch, and now we're going to chain. So that means we're going to put our hook into the triangle, yarn over, and then pull the yarn over through the loop that's on the hook. The same thing you were doing when you made that first long chain, you just do one of them, just one chain. And now we're going to turn the work. So yeah, do the chain. Okay, you've chained one, now we're going to turn the work. So what we're going to do is if we have our work here, and you're right-handed, if you're right-handed, you're going to work your stitches right to left. You're going to go work right to left. So we need to do right to left. Well, we're at the end. So we have to flip everything. So keep the hook in that loop. We've already chained one. We're now going to flip everything over. So turn everything all the way over. And your hook is still at the top, at the top edge of your piece, but you're now on the right hand side. Does that make sense? Okay? So we've already chained one. Now we're going to do single crochets again. But before we do that, I'm going to loosen my hook and take it out. That's one good thing about crochet. If you're going to put it down for the night or whatever, you can take your hook out and make your loop really big and just let it sit. It's not going to come unraveled. Yes, you could put things in there to make certain it doesn't come unraveled, but that big loop is not going to come unraveled. So for now, I'm just going to take that out just to show you. And if you take your stitching and you turn it up on end and you look at that top edge that you just worked in, that you just made, do you see a series of V's? Do you see those V's? Okay? Those V's are the tops of your stitches. Those are the tops. So every time there's a V is a top of a stitch. Those V's are what we're going to use to know where to stitch. Also, those V's come in handy if you need to count your stitches. You count your V's to know how many stitches you made. That's the easiest way. There's other ways to count, but that's the easiest way. All right, so I'm going to put my, let me get this going right. I got to put my hook back in. Let me put my hook back in. So we've turned. So now our hook is at the right side of our work because we've turned. And again, if you're right-handed, you're going to crochet. Doing rows, you're going to work right to left. Always right to left because you're right-handed. All right, so we've already chained one. Now, if you find that on that edge there, that very first V, and finding that first V might be difficult sometimes, but nope, that's fine. But if you can find that first V, if your very first V is sloppy, find the next V. It does not really matter right now. So you find that V, and if you put your hook under both strands of that V, so when you put your hook into it, and if you look here on my hook, that right there is the V. There's two, and again, I need a better camera, but there is the V. Yep, you go right into that V. It's Yep, it's just like going into the chain, but it's a little bit easier because the hole is a little bit more the hole is the same size as your hook because you use that hook to make that stitch. Uh, yeah, yeah, yep. Nope, you're fine. So you're gonna go in. So you've gone into the stitch. You're gonna yarn over. Welcome in, Yadarika. How are you? So you've gone into the stitch. You've gone under that V. We're gonna yarn over. The 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 yarn that's going to your yarn bowl will be in your left hand, and it's going to be the work here. So what we have already done is going to be closest to you, and the yarn going to the yarn bowl will be furthest away from you in your going into your left hand. Okay, have your work in your left palm, and remember the pinch. Remember how I said the pinch. However you're holding it, that's how it's going to be. You have a sinus infection, Yadarika? I'm sorry. I hope you feel better. I'm teaching Eduhuman how to single crochet. So we're going to go into the stitch, so under that first V, and now we're going to yarn over. So, okay. So I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to go into the stitch, which is under that V. So the V is there. I'm going to yarn over. So yarn over and bring it through the stitch. And now I have 2 loops on the hook. Okay? Now we're doing single crochet, just like we did the first row. It's the exact same thing. You're going to yarn over and pull the yarn over through the 2 loops. All right. So I'm going to do the next stitch. And again, you make it wherever you can get the hook into the stitch. Go into the next stitch, go under that V, both parts of the V. That's going into the stitch. And then we yarn over. And when we yarn over, we're going to bring that yarn over through the stitch. And that's now on top of the stitch. And you have 2 loops on the hook. And now you're going to yarn over and bring that yarn over through both loops. Remember, to finish a stitch, when you're done the stitch, you have 1 loop on your hook. Now, since you're going into already made single crochets, they tend to be a little bit easier than going into the chain because it is a more open, looser stitch than a chain is. Welcome in, Lunar Dragon Fibers. How are you? So again, I'm going to go into the stitch. And when I go in, we're going to go under both strands of that V. This is the basic single crochet. There are variations of it. We're not going to do the variations. You're not the greatest? Oh, I'm sorry. I hope things get better for you. We're going to go into the stitch, yarn over, and bring the yarn over through the stitch, 2 on the hook. Then yarn over and bring the yarn over through the 2 loops that are on the hook. Does it? That's all right. Fine. Again, if it's off, go to the next stitch or rip it out and go back wherever that you need to. Does it help to have a bigger size yarn? It can. You'd be able to see the stitches better. What size yarn do you have? Usually it'll be marked somewhere on the label. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. Yeah, you're using the right one. Dreaming Truth wanted to know what size. No, you're fine. Lunar Dragon Fibers. I'm sorry about your cousin. That's sad. I'm very sorry. So with this whole row, and take your time with it, each stitch, each V, go in, put the hook under each V and do a yarn over, bring it through the stitch. There'll be 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over through those 2 loops. And that's single crochet. He had a heart attack and is in a vegetative state. So you're thinking of pulling the plug. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Dreaming Truth. Oh, Oh, it says 2. Oh, yes. Yes. You were using a 2-weight. Let me see if I can find a label. It's just going to be able to show it. I don't know how well you. So, oh, there's a glare. So you see there where it says a 4. It's like a ball of yarn. Dreaming Truth. So that number is the size. Now, again, I don't know where you are. This is in the U.S. I don't know if you're in the U.S. I don't know if this is the standard elsewhere. I know it's standard in a lot of countries. A 4 is a medium weight. If you have a 2, that is a sport weight, and it might help you to get a 4 weight or a 5 weight. Yeah, that's probably why you're having some issues, is because you're using really thin yarn, which is, the yarn is fine, but for learning, might be a little difficult because it's so thin, and the hook that you normally would use would be a lot smaller, and trying to see where they go. Yeah, I would recommend a size 4 or a size 5 yarn, a very economical yarn. You're in the US? Okay. What I would recommend if you're in the US, a cotton yarn, a cotton size 4, like me and Edgy Humor are using, or a size 4, like a Red Heart Super Saver, that type of thing. And yes, and what size hook are you using? I would recommend like a 5, 5.5, or a 6mm, somewhere in that range with a size 4. All these different colors say 2. It came with a beginner kit. Yeah, I mean, it is possible, but I would not make a beginner kit with a size 2 yarn. That is not something that I would do. And I would get a yarn that's a very basic cheap yarn, and something that doesn't have a lot of texture, because the texture is going to hide the stitches. Stay away from. Okay, yeah, no problem. I would stay away from textured yarns when you're first learning, because you won't be able to see where to put the hook. But yeah, I would, again, my recommendation is a size 4 or 5 yarn, and a 5 to 5.5 to 6mm hook, somewhere in that range. I mean, if you wanted to, you can go a much bigger hook with that same yarn. Your stitches would be more loose and drapey, but you'd still be able to see where the stitches go. You tried a few size hooks. 3mm is better. Okay, 3mm with a size 2 yarn, yes. But if you're having trouble doing those stitches, them being so tiny, I'd go up on both. That's just my suggestion. And again, there are no rules in crochet, just guidelines. I mean, you can use any size hook. It's physically possible to use any size hook with any size yarn. It's just all depends on what the look is going to end up being. You are going to see a difference between the different sizes. And I do have a swatch somewhere. Actually, let me get that swatch while he's taking a break. One moment. It also depends on your dexterity of your hands, or if the smaller thread in yard is harder to learn on. Yes. Lots of factors involved. A lot of stuff involved with it. Where is my samples? Where did I put my... Not in there. It's in the other bag. Having a moment. So I think it's in this bag. No, it's not. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm trying to look for some samples. Where did I put them? Uh, Tatter did not stream. At 5 o'clock I went into her stream and she had a pinned message saying stream was canceled because of technical issues. So yes, the traveling Tatter did not stream tonight. I don't know what those issues were, but hopefully she'll get them figured out and she will be back tomorrow. Okay. I had at some point some samples. Where I put them. I'll have to find them maybe for tomorrow. I had some samples of yarn. I made little square swatches. It was all the same yarn. So worsted weight yarn. I think there was like 9 or 10 samples, and each one was done with a different size hook. And it was the exact same stitches, same number of rows, same number of stitches, but the only difference was the hook. And I don't know where I put it. It'll turn up somewhere. Yeah, I don't have it with my other samples that are here, unless it's somewhere else in my desk, hidden under a monitor. Thought you were going insane because Twitch had been twitchy. Yes, Twitch was twitchy. Yeah, she was not streaming tonight. Find that. So that's gonna bug me now. I'm trying to find something that you knew you have, but you don't remember where you put it. So how's the stitching coming along there? And welcome back. Yep. But, yeah, and the more you do it, the more even and consistent your stitches will become. All right, Retro Gamer, you have a good night. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there. Gonna lurk, need to try and rest. This illness is kicking. Yes, feel better, Yadarika, and thank you for the lurk. I appreciate that. But that is all there is to single crochet. I'm going to do another row while you're waiting. You don't have to do a third row. I'm just going to do this so while you're working on that, just so my hands are busy with something. But now this is the way I think of it, of why it's called a single crochet. Is because when you go into the stitch and yarn over and you have 2 loops on the hook. So when you have 2 loops and you do the yarn over, pull through 1, you're only doing that yarn over, not yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. You're only doing the yarn over, pull through 2 once. That's how I look at it as being a single crochet. Let me snooze this ad. I don't want to go to ad right away. Because when we get to the double stitches and all of that, eventually you're going to be doing the same movement that you yarn over and pull through 2, but multiple times. And that is what forms the taller stitches. But I don't want to confuse you right now. Maybe you can invent a new way of crocheting. You just make a big a ball or a rat's nest. So while Eduhuman is working on that, what is everyone else doing? I know we've been running our mouths a lot. What is everyone else working on? Is anybody doing anything, any fun projects? Let me check something real quick. Okay, I didn't even know that they posted. Um, while you were working on that, while Eduhuman is doing that, I'm going to show something that Witchy Weaver was working on today. Because she posted it over in my Discord. Marvin, oh, Marvin the Paranoid Android. Most of the parts are done. Just a few odds and ends, and then the stuffing and assembly. Life don't talk. Life don't talk to me about life. I guess that's a quote. So we've got some body parts. We've got body parts. It's the only time that one of the only times that having body parts on the internet is a good thing. So very, very cool. And again, sorry, Witchy Weaver, if you're still here. I didn't realize that you had posted in my Discord. After a marathon surfing session, I've got one round left on the Dragon Head. Woohoo! And then you'll start to increase for the body of that dragon pattern. That was my first time ever doing a amigurumi piece that actually narrowed in, it increased and then narrowed in and then increased again, which makes sense because you have to make the neck. But I'd never done anything like that before. Oh, and if anybody was, I don't know if anybody was here. Was it yesterday? I did plan out and had the final layout of the eyeball blanket that I've been working on, that commission piece. They're all ready to be joined together. Well, I have to weave in some tails on all of them, but that's minor. It's only 2 tails on each because I added red for the edging. I don't know if I showed that. Let me get one of them here. Got them sitting next to me. So if you don't know, if nobody knows what I'm talking about, it's this piece here. So it's a bunch of eyeballs. They're all different colors of iris. I gotta block them too. That's what I need to do tonight. But I just added red around the border. And then when I go to join them, I'm going to try to get the same red and do this join. It's going to be kind of almost like a braid. It's going to look like a braid, but not exactly. And when it's all joined, then I'll decide what I'm going to do for all the way around the edge, what type of edging I'm going to do on it. But I'm not certain with that yet. But they're all, I've got the placement. I know where every square is going to end up. 56 eyeballs. And when that's done, I can let my friend know and you can come and get it. We're going to have an ad here in about a minute or so. It's going to be for 3 minutes, so it's a good time to do some self-care for everybody. And we will be back shortly. Let me finish this one stitch. All right, we will be right back. And again, Eduhuman, just Keep working on it at your own pace. Again, no rush. And we will be back after this ad break. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that. Hope everybody did some self care while we were at that break. Um, how's it going over there with that single crochet? Okay. No, that's fine. That's no problem. Yeah, nope. I mean, that's the way to do it. I mean, that's the whole purpose of my channel here. Um, Dreaming Truth. You wanted to join the Discord. I got to send the link to you in a whisper. I had to keep it. I had to regulate it because I had some possible issues with some accounts joining, so I have to be a little mindful of it. But I sent the link to you, Dreaming Truth, in a whisper here in Twitch. And if you need to go, Dreaming Truth, I understand. And thank you for popping in and joining us. And again, if you need any help with crochet, reach out to me. Always willing to help a new crocheter or even an advanced crocheter. While you're working on that, I'm just adding the arms to my dragon. But yeah, Edgy Human, if you need to go at any time, feel free. I understand. Okay. Okay. But I think you're getting the idea of how that stitch is formed. It's just, and it takes some practice. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Even in advanced crocheters, black can be difficult. You need lots of light. I mean, it could be done. I mean, those eyeball squares I made had black in them, and I did it, but it's not my favorite. Not my favorite. Uh huh. Exactly. What's that? Oh yes, I'm always open to commissions. If Dreaming Truth is still here, this is Dreaming Truth's practice with single crochet. It's looking really good. You're getting it. It's really good. Again, practice, 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 and you'll get it in it. And so yeah, they're doing really good with that. So my dragon's got arms now. I need to work on attaching. I'm not the best at attaching them. That doesn't look the best, but it sits up, so that's an important thing. All I have left to add now are the wings and the tail. Take a look at my book real quick. Pins. But yeah, once you get the hang of that, if you wanted to learn some of the other basic stitches, um, we can always do a collab again. And well, the patterns are endless, okay? But the basic fundamental stitches, there's probably about, I want to say 6 or 7 roughly. I don't know because I remember off the top of my head. Um, and it's how, wait a minute, okay, let me count. It's chain, slip, single, half double, double, triple. There are other ones. You know. Usually there's usually 6 stitches, and it's how you combine those 6 stitches and where you put the hook into the stitches. So like what you're doing there on the singles, you're going underneath the V's. That is a basic standard single crochet. There are times that you only go under one of the loops of those V's, the V stitches. So you'll do that. Sometimes you go, if now I don't really usually do it with single crochets, but if you look at my sample here, you've got the V's here at the top, and then you got like a vertical part of your stitch. That vertical part is called a post. Usually not with single crochets. You don't really work around the post, but I guess you could. There are times where, imagine, well, I can actually do it. And again, this is a little more advanced. There are times that what you do is you go into under the V of the first one, but you go around the post. So instead of going like this, like you normally would, and the top edge of your piece is there, you would go like that. So the stitch you made, you're going around the post. You can also go from the back to the front. Those are called post stitches. There's different variations, and that adds texture. There's ones that you do, and you do a certain thing, and you actually drop down a couple rows, so your stitch extends. That you'll see that a lot when you use different colors, and you do extended stitches. So I'll actually do one real quick. Let me move the dragon out of the way. So I'm just going to do a couple just to show. Obviously, I don't expect you to do this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something called it would work better if I had a different color. Give me 1 second and I can change color real quick. And use this pink, even though it's acrylic, but that's fine. It's not normally how I would change colors. Yes. Yes. Again, I've been crocheting for 20 years, so hey, it's learning the technique. Okay, so you could actually see it better with the pink. Let me zoom in a little. I'm going to do an extended stitch. So I did 3 single crochets there in the pink. So I did 3 singles. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something called a extended double crochet. So this is more advanced, and if you want to, I can teach you the regular double crochet, but an extended one is like this. So a regular double crochet, I'll show you the regular double crochet while we're at it. So I'm going to yarn over. When we get to this point, you're going to yarn over first. You don't go into any stitch. You yarn over, then you go into the stitch and yarn over, bring through, and you have 3 loops on the hook. And then to do the double is you yarn over through 2 and yarn over through 2. So that stitch, you can see, is taller than these stitches. Okay? Now an extended one, again, you're going to yarn over and extended. So I'm not going to go into that stitch. I'm going to go down the next row below. So normally I would go into the next stitch, but I'm going to drop down 1 row below that and do a stitch. And if you can see, you can kind of see it a little bit. That one extends a little bit lower. And then another one that you could do is you can extend even further down. I have to pull up my loops to do it. And you see how that stitch extends further down than that. So you can make these, and these are basic stitches. These aren't any of the complicated ones, but it's where you put the hook. And let me show you a front, well, you can't really do a front post with this, well, you can. That's really not going to work. Yeah, it's not going to work because it's single crochet. But you can vary variations of them. One of the other ones is, like I was saying, the V stitch here. Well, instead of going under both V's, I'm only going to go under the front V, the first one. And I'm going to do that, and these are single crochet. So I'm going to do a few of those. And let me do one more. That's not working. Come on. It's not working. Let's say I was done. I'm going to do a couple standard ones. Let's say I was at the end of the row, and then when I turn, it will, well, this really isn't going to show that well because of this yarn. But if the yarn was the same, you would actually have a ridge here because you only went through one of the loops of the V's and not both. So the one you didn't go under, it would form a physical textured ridge on your work. So that's front loop. You can also do back loop too. So there's all different places where you can put the hook. So that's how you get a lot of variations. And then it's how you combine all the different stitches to get the really elaborate ones like the fans and the popcorn stitches. I know you have to go here soon, but I'm gonna show you. This is an advanced thing. We'll get to this not with you, but with my stream later on in the month. I'm gonna do a popcorn stitch. So I'm gonna do, because I like popcorns, they have texture to it. They actually make a bump. They look like a piece of popcorn. So we're gonna do a double crochet in the first stitch. I'm gonna do a double crochet again in that same stitch. So there's 2. I'm gonna do another one in that same stitch. There's 3. I'm gonna do another one in the same stitch. I'm putting a lot of stitches into one stitch. So I've got 4, and I'm gonna do one more. I've got 5 double crochets into one stitch. So all of those, the bottom of all those stitches are in one stitch. Now, I'm going to count my V's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put my hook in my first stitch, and then I'm going to grab the loop here, and I'm going to pull that loop through this loop, through that stitch, and I'm going to form a chain stitch. And I know it would work better if I made more rows, but it lays flat, and it's a raised bump. It adds some texture to it. With that type of stitch, it only works on one side. So some crochet, you're going to have a right side and a wrong side. So this would be the right side, and this would be the back of it. So the back of it, you're going to have a little dip, because all of those stitches kind of curl to form that bump. So that's a popcorn stitch. That's one of my favorites. And you could do, that's got 5 doubles. You could do 3, you could do 6, 7. You can do as many as you want to make bigger ones. There's other variations of textured stitches. So, yeah. But, there's different types of tassels. If you want a tassel or fringe, those are 2 different things. Usually, I mean, you can have both. You can have either one on a scarf. I've seen a lot of fringe on scarves, and I can actually show that real quick because I have scrap yarn. What crocheter doesn't have scrap yarn? They're all not the same length, which is fine. Actually, I can make them the same length. So I'll show you real quick the easiest way to make fringe. So I've got a length of yarn. I'm going to cut it, and that's too long. So I'm going to do it one more time. So now I have 4 strands here. So I have 4 strands. And you get as many strands as you want, however thick you want it. Now I'm going to do fringe. I'm not going to do a tassel. Tassels are a little more involved. That involves wrapping and knotting. So I've got my 4 strands, and I folded all 4 together. I hold them all together, and I fold them in half, and I'm going to put them on my crochet hook. Okay? Imagine this is my scarf. Imagine that this is the end where I want the fringe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the stitch, and I'm going to grab all of them. I'm going to even them up. It would actually work better if they were all, if the scarf was actually a scarf. I'm going to even them up. How do I do this? It's been a while since I've done it. Okay. So do this, and I'm going to put it into the stitch, and wait a minute. It's been a wait. I gotta visualize it in my head. I'm gonna, yeah, let's do it that way. I'm gonna put my hook into my scarf. That's how we're gonna do it. Put my hook into the scarf. I'm gonna wrap my fringe. Obviously, you'd have them whatever length you need them. Pull it through. Okay, so you pull that loop, but you don't pull it all the way through. And you got a loop here. So you open that loop, and all your tails, all those tails there, you're going to put through your loop. And it'll be a little tight there. And then you pull it tight, and you have attached some fringe. And even with this here, even if they're all different lengths, if let's say that's the length I want, I can take these and I can give it a haircut. And yeah. And then you can place them however often. If you want them on every stitch, or if you want to space them every couple, you can, yeah. So that is probably the easiest way to add fringe. And it's actually a knot called a lark's head knot. It's a real basic knot. It's actually the same knot in tatting. It's basically formed the same way. But, so, yeah, no problem. Yep. It takes a lot. You have to measure out and do a lot, cut all your little pieces, and then gather them up, and so it does take some time. But that is the simplest way. There's probably other ways to make fringe, um, but that's the way that I would do it because it's quick. I mean, it takes time, but actually doing it, the fringe part is quick. So all different. Okay. Uh huh. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That is why I like Twitch, because you get that instant reaction. You can respond instantly. You don't have to leave a comment and wait for them to get back to you, and or then maybe they never get back to you. But yeah, at least here with Twitch, you've got that instant connection, and you can get feedback. So, but but yeah, I want to thank you for being my first guest here, collab guest on my stream. Everybody who is here, even if you're lurking, go and give Edge of Human a follow over on his stream, on his channel. I'm going to post. That's not it. That is not what I want. Give me one second. Let me get the thing. I was going to post the other thing. That right there is Edge of Human's um, Twitch channel. Go and give him a follow. He just made affiliate. Um, so I mean, I don't know what your plan is, but if you need help adding extra things, and I mean, you can get subscriptions. If anybody wants to, you can subscribe to Edge of Human. That's set up. Um, um, yeah, and well, I'll help. I can help you with all of that. I can help you set up if you wanna set up bits, which are basically in Twitch based currency. One bit is 1 penny, and it's to add like incentives and hype and get things hyped up. I can help you set all that up. So again, if that's what EduHuman is going to be doing, keep an eye on for that, and maybe maybe eventually he can work up to getting redeems if he wants, and emotes, and all fun things that the Crafty Cub has learned over the past year and a half. So I want to spread the knowledge that I know. And again, I don't know it all. I'm still learning myself with things. But again, I want to thank you very much for um, being my first collab guest. I've had an in-person guest, but you're my first stream together guest. And you have a good night. No problem at all. Like I said, that's what this community is all about. It's all about collaboration and working together. It's to help everybody grow. All right. You have a good night. I will catch you later. I'm still going to be streaming, but you have a good night, Edgy Human. Good night. Alrighty, everybody. That was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed having him as a guest and teaching the the single crochet stitch. What is everybody else working on? I mean, I know I wasn't really paying attention to chat. I'm sorry. I was again trying to focus some education on him, and hopefully, everyone else. Excuse me, I'm getting all choked up. Picked up on some of that as well. I'm going to put that to the side. If anybody has any questions about what we did here so far on stream or anything else about crochet, feel free to ask. I'm going to take this fringe off because I'm going to end up frogging this whole piece anyway. It's just a sample. I'm going to use that as my schnibbles. And I'm going to work more on what you call it? The dragon. I'm going to add the body parts to our friendly dragon that we have. And let me switch my scenes. So I've got the arms and the legs. I'm working on the tail right now. I'm stitching the tail on. But then all I have left is the wings, and we will have a finished amigurumi. Can't believe that I'll have the first one done from the book. What I'm going to end up doing is with all of these, once they are done, I need to get better in general. I need to get better at posting things on my Instagram. I do have an Instagram. I don't really use it that much because I don't use Instagram. But I do need to post things on there more. And when these are done, I will post them on the Instagram. And I am going to tag Drew in them so he can see my version of his little creations, his little creatures. Just doing more dragon stuffing? Yes. There is a lot of dragon stuffing involved in it. Everything here, I can tell you everything, and this isn't really giving away the pattern. Everything gets stuffed except the wings. And the belly thing, because that gets stitched on. But yeah, everything else gets stuffed. It's really fun. I like these. Again, my first um, complex amigurumi. I gotta clean up some. Ooh, she was doing the splits there. I gotta clean up some of this fuzz. And I do have to figure out what I'm gonna do for the eyes. I've got T-pins for placement. I had to put them there for when I put the snout on. I will go back and embroider or do something for the eyes. I'm not exactly certain what. It's too late to do safety eyes because it's already stuffed. Did you add anything to the neck for reinforcement? No, I just added a lot of stuffing. I stuffed the head, and then when I did the stitching for the neck, when I got most of it finished, then I stuffed a lot in there so it's kind of firm. I mean, it'll move, but it's not super wobbly. It's not. So I didn't put any reinforcement in there, just with the stuffing. My pin, but yeah, I use these T pins for a lot of things. I really like them. They're sturdy. I use them for blocking sometimes, and they make a good thing for when you're placing pieces. And I learned this from Pick Stitch. Um, to piece them in place, to hold them until you can stitch them fully on. So any type of pin would work as long as the head is large enough. Paint by numbers coming along nice, very very cool. I've never done paint by number. Well, maybe I did when I was a kid. I was never good at it. What's that? Sorry, I wasn't keeping up with chat. But what is the paint by number of? Let's take a looky here. See how they want this done. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, I thought they were going to be attached differently. For some reason, I was going to attach them like this, but I'm like, that's more of a butterfly. They need to be attached more like so. Okay. So I've got to do a little stuffing mat, but probably reinforce it with a bamboo. Yes, you can. Yeah, definitely. If you want to, if you think you need more reinforcement with that, I didn't. I didn't think of that. Again, I'm relatively new to Amis, so that's why I didn't. Bunch of plants, very cool. I like plants. Actually, hopefully, we're gonna go and get actual real plants tomorrow from Lowe's. Hot some up sometime this week. Post a picture of what. Yeah, would love to see what your what the finished piece will look like. Okay, we need. I might have to reinforce his legs, her legs, the dragon's legs. That's where that'll probably go. Whoa, uh-oh, uh-oh. Look at that! Look at that! It's cute from the back. Um, getting all excited over the backside of a dragon. Have to cover his issues. Okay, yeah, I'll check it when I get a chance. I'm performing some surgery here, reconstructive surgery. She's getting her wings. That. Let me get the other wing on, and then we will take a look at your what you posted. Yeah, those pins come in very, very handy. And then I will have something to share to a bunch of Discords. I haven't made anything recently that was share worthy to the Discords I belong to. I haven't shared in a while. So this will be perfect. But I hope that everybody enjoyed that collab with Edge of Human. If anybody else, hey there, Tia, welcome in. If anybody else is interested in doing a collab stream with me, even if it's just we're just co-working, we're both working on projects, and hang out and want to chit chat, I'm open to that too. Or if you want to learn something, if you want to something that I can teach. You've been trying for ages now. Thank you for the hydrate, Notewood. I appreciate that. Cute dragon. Well, thank you. I'm going to show it off here in 1 second. First, let me get the hydrate. Thank you, Notewood. Notewood is always concerned about people hydrating, so I appreciate that. Oh, wait a minute. I got to make that larger. Let's see what we have. Oh, I didn't see this. Aloof and Poofed has progress picture of the dragon head, and that they're working on the same. They're doing the same pattern that I'm doing. So we got some progress. And this is from Mickey. Here's what I have so far. Ooh. Ooh, I like it so far. This looks very tropical to me. I think it's going to be a tropical thing. I was right. A lot of houseplants. Mickey, that's going to look amazing. And I recognize some of these plants. I have. Did you know I have one of these, like an actual plant, over on the other side of my room, a bird of paradise? I don't have any of the other things. But, very, very cute. I like that. It's going to turn out wonderful. Yeah, I wish I could do it. I wish I could paint. As a kid, I couldn't even color. I couldn't stay in the lines. And bamboo skewer in the neck for continued support after the stuffing decompresses. Very, very fun. That's more work on the dragon head from Aloof. Thank you, everybody who is sharing with me. Let me see. Let me catch up with chat because we're supposed to do the nightmare together, but it's okay. Oh, Mickey, we never came up with a day and a time to do the Nightmare Before Christmas thing. So yeah, you let me know because your schedule isn't as flexible as mine. It's been wet all damn week. Yes, the weather. Yes, it has been rainy. Fairy Dust says, just finished that baby blanket. Take a picture of Discord tomorrow after it's walk. Very cool. Yeah, would love to see it. You had an orchid. Yes, Grammy ETC has an orchid. It's not in bloom at the moment. Who needs to stay in the lines? There's plenty of styles that don't stay in the lines. Yes, you're correct. Well, paint by number, you kind of... The point of it is to stay in the lines. You need to organize... order orchid fertilizers. How are you, Tia? And how are you, Notewood? Let me check something. Okay. So, my dragon... The dragon is done. Oh, and now I gotta zoom in a little bit. The dragon is done. I gotta do something with the eyes. It doesn't have eyes yet. Um, I didn't know we had safety eyes until after I had finished that. But there is my version of Davina the Dragon. I did it in. Actually, let's see if I can do it this way. Let's see if I can do it this way. Let me excuse my background, but she's cute. We have a finish. How squishy? It's pretty firm. It's somewhat. The body is more firm than the head. The body is much more firm. Didn't say the lines actually dropped my paintbrush. Uh-oh. You're fired, Mickey. Exhausted, was in Philly and Pittsburgh in the last 24. Oh, wow. And you're pregnant. Oh. Is that a good thing? Do I congratulate you? Because that's not always a good thing. I mean, if it's intended or not. Whoa, congratulations, Tia. Be sure to message you. Yeah, definitely message me, Mickey. So, we've got our cute little dragon. I have to do the eyes. But I like how it turned out. The original one, I can show you the picture. That is the original. Well, don't show the pattern, Crafty Cub. It's in purples, but I like it better in the two contrasting colors. It was, if it happens, it happens. Okay, I get that. Let's see. You didn't think it would happen? Well, congratulations, congratulations. But I'm sorry that you had to be in Philly and Pittsburgh in the last 24 hours. And for those of you who don't know, yes, they're both in the same state, but they're not near each other. They're on opposite sides of the state. So, and it's a decent sized state. It's not a huge state, but it's definitely not a small state. Um, Roughly 6 hours apart. Yeah, 6 hours of driving. And that's on the interstate. And the dreaded Pennsylvania Turnpike. Mm. So I banged it up. Yes. Um, Aloof and poofed. All the body parts go somewhat quick. Oh, I'm not even showing it. The body parts go quicker than the head and the body. So the arms, the legs, the wings took me a little while to do. I did the wings today, but the horns are really quick. Really quick, and the horns do curve back naturally. They do have a natural curve. I think it took 7 hours because of pee stops and food stops. We didn't take the turnpike because of costs. Ah, okay, yes. Okay. Yeah, there are other alternatives, but yeah, that turnpike. Ugh, I've been on it before. So I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, and you can pose it. Like there's no wire in there aren't. No wire in any of it. But it's so firm that you can kind of pose it. But I got to come up with something for the eyes. And that might be what I can do tonight. I can do right now. Apparently, the toll in PA is the most expensive in the world. Oh, I can kind of see how that could be the truth. All right, I'm just gonna do a circle. That's another thing. I'll probably put pipe cleaners. Yeah, you can put pipe cleaners on it to make it really posable. And I like that you're changing it up. You're adding to it. So I want to fiddle with them. Yeah, I've never done any posable ammies. Well, I've never really done ammies that have body parts, like I said. I don't want the eyes to be too big. Won't be able to pose this one very much due to the yes, yes, due to the design because it doesn't lend itself to that. Okay. Eduhuman was talking about black yarn and how difficult it is to work with. Yeah, so I got to get my light and my magnifying glass. Want to come say hi and see how we're doing? Oh, well, thank you. I'm doing pretty good. I don't know if you were in here earlier when I had a special guest um, that was streaming here with me. Eduhuman, I was teaching him how to crochet. You might know someone that had a few buttons to use as eyes if you have 8 hours to sort through them. Yeah, I'm not putting buttons on this one. I have buttons too, but I am not putting buttons on this one for eyes. You just got home from Pokemon. Okay. But yes, I had a my first string together like virtual guest on tonight. A fellow Marylander, Eduhuman. Uh, he is a new streamer. He's been only streaming for a few months. He just got affiliate. Let me see if I can shout him out. I don't think he has any clips at the moment. Um, in the land of Twitch, where gamers roam, lies a channel so cozy it feels like home. With art and music, a blend so grand, and games from a time we can barely understand. No recent streams to watch or to cheer, but fear not, dear viewers, for Eduhuman is near. They'll craft and they'll chat with animals in tow, a safe space for all where creativity flows. So gather round friends, both near and far, for a journey with Eduhuman, how wondrous you are. I love Frosty Tools. I love how wordy and clever it can be. Um, like I said, they just got affiliate literally last night. They got the email. So they are a brand new affiliate user. And, oh, where am I? Oh, I gotta weave this in. And, so they do all different types of things. They do cooking streams, just chatting streams. I think they've played some games. They've done so a little bit of crafts. I think they've done painting on like some resin pieces. They're doing some remodeling in their house. So you never know what to expect over on that channel. It's all good though. It's very much a chill type stream. I think I cut that too short, but I think it'll be fine. Frosty's pretty awesome. Use it for turning. Uh, used it for used it for it turned on before it turned to the pay thing. Yeah, I have the free version, so it'll do that, but it'll be like X amount of time before it'll put up another little, what do you call it? The little AI blurb explanation, little poem. But I still like it. I'll still use it. But yes, Eduhuman wanted to make a scarf for this coming winter. It's actually a good time to make it so it'll be ready by winter. And so they learned how to do the chain. So I did a refresher with them for that. And then I showed them how to do the single crochet. They're picking it up, they're getting the idea. And if anybody has ever crocheted before, it does take some practice to get things looking just right. So definitely on the right path. Love doing the loom knitting. Yes. Yeah, loom knitting for scarves and hats is fun too. So that's actually a little bit easier to do than hand knitting or crocheting. Kind of, it holds it, literally holds everything in place. And I've got a bunch of different knitting looms. I recently got a sock loom, so I can make socks. I think that's a good size eye. I got the Knitboard brand. It's really nice plastic and a wood one. Oh, very cool. I don't know if I'm familiar with that brand. Maybe I am. Wait a minute. Wait. Is that it? Is that it? Knitboard. Okay. The one I have is called KB Blooms or KB. I don't know if it's the same. I mean, that's the one. That's the sock loom I have. It could be a different brand. I don't know if it's the same. Authentic knitting board. But I've got plastic ones actually here. They're close at hand. Yeah, that's the sock loom. Let me see if I can grab it without totally destroying everything that's over here. Every time I stream, I make a mess. This is the sock loom that I have. Um, I got this from I won a gift card to dickblick.com. I was in the Moco Locos big PP Energy party at the beginning of April, and one of the things, because they have a lot of giveaways, and one of the things I won was a gift card um, to dickblick.com. So I got this and a bunch of yarn, a bunch of really nice yarn. So this is sock loom, and this is adjustable. This can move back and forth. You think KB stands for knitboard? Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. So yeah, it's probably the same. And then the other thing that I have, I've had these forever. I got these back when I worked at Michael's. This is the Nifty Knitter brand. I don't even know if they make this brand anymore. But these are the circle ones. These are good for hats and bags. You can also do flat panel on this too. Long form. Is it like one of these? Hey there, Kisak. How are you? Welcome in. So, yeah, this is to do something like a double knit, which I have not. I've had this for years. I haven't figured out how to do that, how to use it, and how to. Yeah, um, welcome in, Raiders. How was your stream? How is it going? Welcome in, Vivalane Rosen. You streamed me. You streamed me. You streamed me. You rated me last night. How are you? How is it going? Welcome in. What were you doing? I want to know all the details. I can send you a few links if you want. That you want to use. They're awesome for scarves. Yeah, definitely. Send me links to you. Would love to see. Um, have some links for that. So I was just showing off some what knitting looms that I have. We're talking the knitting loom thing. Stream was fun. Playing some more Paper Mario Sticker Star. Very fun. Very cool. Welcome in. If anybody is coming in that doesn't know me, I am the Crafty Cobb. We do a lot of fiber arts here, mostly crochet. We've done other fiber arts. Tonight, I had a special guest. Eduhuman. Eduhuman is a new streamer. He's only been streaming for a few months. They just recently got affiliate. Like, they got the email last night. Like, they are like brand new affiliate. They do all different types of things on their stream. They do cooking. They do a little bit of crafts. They do home renovation. They do just chatting. I think they played some games. He was on my stream. We did a stream together, my very first stream together, and I taught him how to do single crochet. Um, Month of May is back to basics, as it says in the description below me. This is for everybody, not just when I had my guest, but for everybody. We're learning or revisiting the basic stitches. We did single crochet tonight. We're probably going to do it again tomorrow. Going to touch on that, and then we can keep going through a lot of the other stitches. He was doing great. He was getting the idea of it, picking it up. But yeah, that is what we do here. I do all different types of crochet. Last night we started a project, and I finished it. I'm in the process of finishing it. Is this dragon? I'm putting on the eyes. I'm doing my own thing for the eyes. It's not going to have these long tails, so it's not crying or anything. But this is this cute little dragon. It's from this book called Crochet Magical Creatures by Drew Hill, and it's really cute, really fun. I'd actually be able to walk you through it, honestly, later after I find the cast on. Yeah, definitely, Tia. Yeah. Is the YouTube just VODs, or you still plan on posting other stuff? Right now, my YouTube channel is just uploads of my VODs. What I'm probably going to end up doing in the future is standalone tutorial videos of certain types of stitches or motifs. So, right now, it's just an archive of my streams. So what you see here, unedited, I do no editing at all. I just, when I'm done here, literally, I write out, and then before I go get something to eat, I click the little upload thing, type a little description, hit the button, and it uploads to YouTube. So that's behind the scenes. That's part of my routine, what I do. But I do plan on doing, especially for my Teaching Tuesdays, when I do special stitches, I plan on doing that type of thing, a standalone. So you don't have to sit through the whole VOD for sometimes 5 hours just to find the part that you're looking for. Looks adorable. Well, thank you. Again, it's from this book by Drew Hill, and it's a paid pattern, and it's called Davina the Dragon. I did mine in the green with the pink, and I didn't have I didn't know we had safety eyes, but now I know. But by the time I got the head and the body done, that's what I found out, so I couldn't go and put the safety eyes in. But I just did a little crocheted circle, and now I'm going to stitch them on. So it's not going to have these long strands. It's not going to have this little pin in it. So it's not going to be that creepy looking. And if it looks creepy with these eyes, I can take it out. Where do you want the link posted? Actually, in my Discord, I guess. And this is a link for a. Is it a link for a loom, or is it a tutorial? If it's a tutorial or a pattern, okay, yeah, put it in the pattern section in the Discord, so that way other people can watch it too and get benefit out of it. Yes, they look button-esque. They do look like buttons. It's just a round. It's just a round of and the eyes are my own creation. So everything else is from the pattern. I made these are my own. It's just a simple little circle. We're gonna have an ad coming up here in about 30 seconds. We will be back after this ad break. I'm not gonna go to an ad screen. I'm just gonna be working on these. Putting these eyes on. And again, thank you for the raid. If you need to do after stream stuff and raid and run, I totally get it, because I know how streaming can be at times. I might end up adding some other stuff to this at some point. I don't know yet. You can't really see it, but trying to get this stitched into here the way I want it, and it's not working. It's failing at the stitching. But the curved needle, it does come in handy. The curved needle is a godsend with doing this. Some time to watch. Gonna do some stuff on the side. Okay, I appreciate that. Remove the pin. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. What is the saying? Put a needle in your eye or whatever. Yeah, there's a needle in the dragon's eye. Stick a needle in your eye. Yeah, that's like the little playground, whatever the rhyme goes. Ah! I pulled the whole eyeball out. That is not what we're going for. Definitely. It's super cute. Just flicked the needle and it almost went flying. Almost. It didn't though. Oh, getting caught on the horn. Oh, if I stab myself, it's fine. It's a blunt needle. It's not sharp. Now these pins, those pins are sharp. Yeah, I'm not going to hurt myself with this needle. So, it kind of looks a little weird with those black eyes, to be honest. But I might have to add something to it. I don't want to add pink because that'd be almost demonic. Um, yeah, a little white. Yes, yes. Um, where did I put? Thank you. Actually, that's not the. Where did I put the white I was using for? Oh, there it is. That's white. a little bit nicer yarn. You sent it? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I will have to check that out. Yeah, that kind of that made sense because speaking of eyeballs, my commission piece that I'm working on, it's nothing but eyeballs. It's these eyeball squares, and I add the little white little shine to the pupil, and your go-to cast on, and then for the rest of the scarf. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll definitely have to take a look at that. Oh, excuse me, but yeah, the little white will add to it. But I'm making this blanket with 56 of those squares. Actually, I can show you a mock-up of it. It's not done yet. It's not joined, but I do have a picture of placement. Here we go. This is what the blanket is kind of going to look like. There's going to be some red crochet joining all the squares. So this is a commission piece for a friend of mine. All different fun colors. Used up a lot of my scrap yarn, which I wanted to. That was a big bonus for this piece. Let's see if I can add these after they're already on. I am not an expert amigurumi artist. Should I add it in the center of the eye or off, like, to the bottom? I don't want it in the center. I mean, going up to the center. Let's do it this way. Let's do it, start it down there. You can always cut it off. I really should have done this before I stitched it on. Kind of like that. Let's go at the back side of the head. Didn't you know that's how you get the little shine in your eye? They actually sew it on and they have to finish it out the back side of your head. And ignore that little piece. Yeah, I think that might work. Posted a reference on Discord. Okay. Oh. Oh. That looks a lot. Looks really complicated for me. More off to the edge. Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? We can do. We can. I haven't finished it off. I can always rip it out. Crochet is what? Not permanent. I need to have that on a sound clip. Just the white shines as reference. No, yeah, no, I get that. I get that. I don't want to. Sorry, Dragon, that I'm doing eye surgery on you. Okay, you know what? We're really going to do eye surgery. We're going to go in with a scalpel. She's having cataracts or something. Doing cataract surgery on a dragon. And you people tune in to see this. Nuts. Gotta go in from the outside. Okay. Not as easy as it looks. Really do feel like a surgeon or something here. Yep. I'll do that, and I'll do another one here at the same side at the same angle. And don't ignore that little white part. I'll tuck that in. All right, go in through the forehead. Oh, thank you. Again, I'm learning. I'm learning. And I did 2 stitches of each, so to add a little depth, I guess, so it's not just one stitch. This one can go through the back of the head too. Pierce the brain. Okay, that one didn't turn out as well. That one's got to be had some time to work on your model train stuff. Very, very cool. Yeah, that is so cool. I love model trains. Um, that picture you showed me was so cool. I've always loved them. Um, I remember when I was a little kid, there was a fire department not too far from me that would set up a train garden display in the fire department. They would take one of the engines out of the bays where they inside, and they would set up a train garden there, and it was so cool. And then it's no longer there. There's a place in Pennsylvania. I know Tia stepped away, but I don't know if Tia's ever been because I know Tia's in Pennsylvania. Um, there was a place called Roadside America. And you know what? You know what? If you're still going to be here for a little bit, oh, I gotta work on that. They're not even. That's okay. I could pull up a video. Miniature Wonderland, very cool. But this place was indoors. It was huge, and it was started back like in the 30s or the 40s. Everything was made by hand. There wasn't any kits. Well, maybe there might have been some kits, but most of the stuff was by hand, and it was like they had areas that were like town, like a small town, and then they had more country, rural areas. They had like pioneer or like Wild West themed area. So that's what I have so far. I might have to redo the little white part, but my first time, I think it's okay. Again, I can always redo it. But actually, let me see if I can find a video of it. Not has nothing to do with crochet, but since you mentioned that, because I think that stuff is so cool. Let's see. Um. Okay, we're not gonna watch a 16-minute video on it, even though I could. This is from 2018. It's no longer there. It is no longer there. I don't know if we're gonna be able to hear the audio. Again, this is a video I saw. I think it's from one of the the national news stations here. I'm probably gonna have to fast forward through some of it. Okay, we don't have to watch all of this. Let me. Oh yeah. So so yeah. Unfortunately, it did close. I think the pandemic um put a hamper on that. I think it closed in 2021, 2022. Um, but yeah, it was really cool. I went there a couple times, but they didn't show it. But there is a night pageant where, however often, I don't know, every hour or whatever it was, they would get on the announcement and say everybody to the back, and they had like a bleacher, like a wooden bleacher, like step seating, and you went back there, and they would play God Bless America, and then they would slowly darken the overhead lights, and all of the lights in the village would slowly come on, and it would get darker and darker, and then more lights would come on, and then it would be like that for a while, and the trains are still going, and then slowly the lights would go. The individual little lights in the village would go out as the overhead lights would slowly come back on. So it was overnight. It was really really cool. But yeah, unfortunately, they did have to close. But I was so bummed when I heard about that the other year. Um, but yeah, I've always loved the little train villages and gardens and setups, and I've never had one. I mean, we did have a toy train under the Christmas tree that we'd set up, but nothing elaborate. It wasn't anything too too fancy. It had like maybe like three, four cars, and it was a larger scale. I don't know what scale it was. It was a larger scale um, of train size, whatever the thing is. Words. I think we're gonna go and Mini Wonderland is gigantic. The Instagram. Oh, you did post it Instagram. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry about that. I uh, let me take a look at that. That is so rude of me. I'm a bad streamer. Um, Mini Wonderland is gigantic. The Instagram shows some layout stuff, but they have entire recreations of cities. You know you're a painter when you're more comfortably painting on the floor or painting the floor. Um, okay, let's take a look. This is what did you call it? Mini Wonderland. Oh my goodness, this is so cool. That is so cool. Let's see. I'm going to click through some of the... Oh, we got the Millennium Falcon. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, that is huge. That is so fun. Wow. Even have car racing. Yeah, I'm going to end up following this channel because this is so cool. Let's see if there's any trains. I want to see some trains. Oh, yeah, they do have recreations. So Mission Explorer, what you see is, oh, yeah, what definitely Tiny Sliver. Yeah, I can see what you mean by recreations of cities. We've got Rio. Well, that was Monte Carlo. Now Rio. They have trains too. That's a big bunny in that landscape. um, wow. That's cool that it's on the bridge. Um, okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to be watching this. Very fun. Very fun. Got some models, some of the little vehicles. Oh wow, yeah. Wow. Mini Wonderland. Okay. Yeah, I am definitely going to have to go and check that out. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I know what I'm going to be doing later on tonight. Looking at some cool little miniature stuff. Um Mickey, how much painting did you get done on your paint by number? Oh, it looks like it. It looks like it. Definitely looks like a treat to visit. We're going to go and find somebody to raid, and I have no idea who is on. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Uh, Madam Juniper, Little Arrow Soaps. Um, Mickey says not much so far. You took a break. Hey, nothing wrong with taking a break. Nothing wrong. Um, let me find this real quick. Wait, things kept scrolling. Okay, what is Madam Juniper doing? We've got some cross stitch. Uh, uh, yeah. Did everybody want to go and look at some bath bombs? Little Arrow Soaps. They make soaps and bath bombs and all of that type of thing. They are a Moco Loco. I've been following them for a while. I haven't really popped into their stream that often, but they are painting. They are painting some details on some. Okay, this is up my alley because I am old. Um, Bath bombs that are in the shape of cassette tapes. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go and raid them. All right. Raid whatever. Gonna be working for the dragon for. Okay. Yeah. Love to see more of your progress on your dragon aloof. That is the what do you call it? The raid call. for followers. Let me get the raid call for subscribers. All right. I want to thank everybody who has rated me. Vivi Elaine, I think I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Thank you for the raid. I want to thank Frog and Turtle Gaming for the raid. I want to thank Witchy Weaver for the raid. I think that's the only raids I had tonight. Vivi, okay. I will try to remember that. Frog and Turtle, Witchy Weaver. Yes, those are the 3 raids. And I especially want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out with me, and I want to especially thank Edge of Human for being my first collab stream. Let me give Edge of Human a shout out again. Oh, hold on. Wait, I hit a button. Okay, everything just went weird. Okay, wait. Wait. Hold on. Exit. Everything went full screen. Everything went full stream on me. I'm going to give Edge of Human another shout out. It doesn't have clips yet, but he might get clips in the future. Everybody go and support him. Like I said, he just got affiliate. Brand new today. Great streamer. And again, I want to thank him for joining me and letting me try to teach him how to do single crochet. We might have more collab streams in the near future. I hit the wrong button again. That button's okay. We're gonna go and raid out to Little Arrow Soaps, and I will be on again tomorrow at 6 p.m. We're gonna continue with back to basics and teaching of the crochet stitches. So everybody have a good night. Copy those raid calls. And I will chat with you all again tomorrow. And as I always say, happy crafting.